let's see. The team really focus on this year is, this is a chart from NCTM, National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, the principle to action. So how to make, what kind of action you need to take in order to implement Common Core State Standard. So this chart is, left side is unproductive belief, and the right side is productive belief. This is worth read everything, but I just want to focus on this, the bottom part, which is the team is focusing on. This is unproductive belief. An effective teacher makes mathematics easy for students by guiding them step by step through problem solving to ensure that they are not frustrated or confused. That is unproductive. The productive belief is an effective teacher provides students with appropriate challenges, encourage perseverance in solving problems, and then support productive struggle in learning mathematics. So you see students struggle today. That's the purpose that we want to have. Because we see so often, actually I saw the similar lesson in other places this week. It's a research lesson. Teachers try to guide step by step to the student. And then looks like everybody happy. And then giving an exit slip. 25 students, only 2 students get. That happens every day, every place in the United States. Even though teacher clearly explained that the students don't get it. That's why you have to reteach. Teach again and again and again, but if you do this over and over again, it doesn't help at all. That's the mathematical practice. We want students to think mathematically and struggle and then overcome this challenge. So that's what the team is doing. So I really appreciate that you try. This is not easy because somehow there are, what happened? Maybe.
David, is there tech support here?
So I'm going to reconnect this.
I feel it. I feel for you.
Oh. Well, there's some illusion in U.S. classroom, U.S. schools. If you teach step by step, everybody can get it. Everybody can get it. But the researchers suggesting you have to give students opportunity to think by themselves since 70s and 80s. But there's a huge gap between the research and then practice in this country. So let's see. And then the Common Core is really make it explicit, this kind of illusion we need to overcome by specifying this 8 mathematical practice. So, and thank you very much for your hard work to make it happen. So today's lesson, so the teacher presenting the problem to the student, right? And it's showing geometry. And my note, next note is this.
Yeah.
Where is the rule? I mix with Japanese and English. Where is the rule on this geometry? And that was my initial question. And it's important when you look at your lesson, of course you need to look at the teacher, but you need to put yourself as a student. If I were a student, what I'm thinking. So at the beginning, it's already kind of glitch started, right? And then, and also, unfortunately, this while you are teaching in the classroom every day, or you teach every day for years, right? However, while you're teaching, you may not notice these things. The lesson study, we have a privilege. We don't have to teach. We don't have to worry about how students doing, but we're just curious about how students receive. And then you can put yourself as a student eye. This experience so valuable. Because if you develop a good eye to observe student, eventually you will be able to observe student while you are teaching. Often teachers focusing too much on what I'm gonna do for student, but we rarely think about how student receive my question, how student look at this problem. So this opportunity, we really want you to think about it, the lesson from student viewpoint. Therefore, we're gonna focus on how student receive it. So my observation is mainly focused on not what teacher did, but more like how student receive this. So, and then one boy come up with this at the beginning, very first. What does this tell? If what kind of student, I put him saying, this is Jimari, right?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, yeah.
The kids call him Jerry. That's
Jerry,
easy.
okay.
Yeah.
So actually, I make this shape, if I were a kid, I make this kind of shape because I'm interested in this geoboard.
Yes, he is.
I want to play with this, right? Because this is kind of interesting. What kind of shape I can make it? That is the natural. So probably that particular student have not used geoboard so much. Probably new to this geoboard. That's why interesting is play with this. That is my interpretation. Then I look at probably students do not see geoboard so often prior to this lesson.
Yeah.
If you see a new toy or new model or new things, you want to explore. Otherwise, you cannot use it. So probably for this student, new task and then new manipulatives introduced almost simultaneously. That's why he cannot use as a tool. Well, that is my interpretation.
Yeah, I can, yeah. I mean, and also, I think, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Well, I see other students too. Some students really want to play with this one. So therefore, they come very interesting shapes. Of course, there's a task to divide into two, but they're more interesting, exploring these tools. So, and then some students just making this shape and so forth. And then, of course, most of the students make this one. And then, this is interesting. But I'm thinking about this student is not just making a cross. This student may want to divide into 4 equal pieces, and maybe 2 of them are half. That might be another interpretation. But, in this case, the class did not talk about why you make this shape. This is not a good idea. That was shared, but we need to listen to the student voice. Because we ask students to do whatever they want to make this one. So we need to listen to this. And then another one is this. And then we discussed this. And we talked about these 2 ways. From my observation, these 2 ways to split into half. And then as a teacher, so that we say, this is not a good idea, this is not a good idea, you talked about. But my note is, they might think about it, these 2 shaded. So if I were a student and then think about this way and then did not have opportunity to share my ideas, maybe I may discourage to come up my own unique solution. So looking at the student, and then still, those students, after you talk about this one, they're still making this cross. Right? Probably she really likes it. And then believe it or not, this student very end still making this shape. So probably she really want to share this. And then this boy is making this kind of, the house shape. So still making another shape. The boy using X. And then this student, how you interpret this student first making this, let's see, can you see this?
Yeah, that's cool.
Blue? So this student making this blue,
You okay?
so like this, and then try to move this one to make it cross. So in my understanding, this student try to make a same shape, not necessarily equally divided into two halves. There's some extra space, but he meant you to try to make a two equal shapes.
Right.
Equal
Right.
access to the
Lost
door
your-
window.
Yeah.
The door.
See, look at this.
You're off again.
You're
It's
on
a
top
building.
again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That would be something to explore.
Hold on a second. So this one, obviously making a nice two equal shapes.
Yeah.
It's, you know, that child interest is no more dividing into the room into two shapes, but making a pretty, but it's two same shapes. So if you look, and then this time I look around the classroom, and then this is a seating chart. How many students actually making a new shape, which is not is like a split into two rectangle or cross, and then no student make a new shape yet. And then our teacher really want ask student to come back, because as a teachers, we really encourage students to make new shape, therefore bringing it back. And then what happened after this is all these students say, wow, this is really, really interesting. However, students still making this shape. And then this shape. And then still making this cross. So what we can tell, and also another interesting one is like this, like, you know, the butterfly, like same shape. And then this was very interesting because he removed the kind of rhombus in the middle and then make two shapes. So what teacher want to do and what the student want to do was a little bit far away. So in the same classroom, same time we share, but the student and teacher should kind of having a two different agenda. Right? So if this two is close enough, this is a good lesson. But unfortunately, what teacher want, student, and then what student want was not. So where is coming? This is observation, but you know, just sharing observation may not be helpful. What might be the cause of this one? Then I really think about it. Then probably this is affordance of geoboard. That the geoboard is kind of encourage student looking at these small tiny squares or like making interesting shapes, but may not be a good tool to split into two equal parts. But first of all, outside is not clear, right? So, of course, if you think about the fraction, what is whole is important, but whole is not clear in a geoboard. Right? And then also focus on grid. So, however, how about instead of using geoboard like a paper folding, fold into two equal parts? You can do it like this. Obviously, these two parts are same because this is overlapped completely. How about folding like that? Obviously, this is a two equal part. But you know, beyond these two is a little bit difficult, because if you really understand mathematics, let's see, this can be half, because as far as you see that the center, any straight line, cut this one into half. But this is a little bit beyond for the student in the second grade. So this is a limited possibility for folding this coming up to. The geoboard, if this cut into two, there's a wide varieties. However, the whole is not clear. So there's some advantage and disadvantage. So which one you want to use it? This is a kind of interesting question. This depends on the goal of the lesson. So by the way, what is the goal of this lesson? This is the Common Core State Standard, Geometry 2. Catherine raised this interesting question. So this is the geometry standard. Reason with shape and their attribute. Recognizing draw shapes having specific attributes such as given number of angles. So one is kind of basic concept of basic shapes. Number two, partition a rectangle into rows and columns of same size squares and then count to find the total number of them. And then 3 is partition circle and rectangles, or maybe including square, into 2, 3, 4 equal shapes. Describe the shares using the word halves, third, half of, a third of, etc. And describe the whole as a 2 halves, 3 thirds, 4 fourths, recognizing that the equal shares of identical whole need not have to be the same shape. Okay, so the Common Core State Standard, organizing in this way, geometric domain by domain, and in this particular order, do you think it's a good idea to teach this sequence or not? The Common Core does not tell sequence at all. Especially 2 and 3, these are two totally different purposes. But your team, what you're explaining is somehow you mixed up these two. Number 2 is Common Core is trying to establish a foundation for multiplication, area model. Number 3 is foundation for understanding fraction, which is equally dividing into the shape. So, which you want to know? From my viewpoint, putting these two together in a one unit doesn't make sense. Number 2 should be into more like a number and calculation, how you express this situation by using equation. So like, today's one is 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, right? 4 equal groups, or 8 plus 8 by counting these squares. That is much more like how to express situation using the numerical relationship. The bottom part, the number 3 is more like a equal share. And then the last part is very tricky. Recognize the equal share of the identical whole need not have to be the same shape. That means this is really challenging. So this is half, right? And then this is half. So this triangle, rectangle, these are same. That Common Core wants students to see it. It's even challenging, right? So probably today student come up with this like a diagonal sandwich. That's nice, I like sandwich. And then you can equally share, right? And then you could come and say, oh, this is half, this shape. And then this is diagonal sandwich. Which you have? Student might be able to say, oh, this is same, right? Even the shape are different. Same. What same? Probably the concept of area, but it's a little bit tricky. But you could help students. Oh, this is like if you go to second grade, same amount of sandwich, you can have it. That kind of conclusion. Oh, this is 1/2. This is 1/2. That is more focused on today's lesson, I think, rather than coming up 8 units square. So the same activities can be different purpose. Therefore, when you design the lesson, clearly stated goal. What do you want? It's important. I think that the team spends so much time on narrowing. So maybe you may not be able to go back to original standard. However, that's why lesson become like this. So it's important to going back, the focus on the lesson. But this opportunity to giving us to step back and then look widely, that might be a goal. Is that the case? At the beginning, students come up with these two different ideas by themselves. Then you're gonna start. Is this both a half? How to show it? It looks different though. Then you have a discussion to let them struggle, to develop a viable argument, to see, these looks different but the same. That might be, the lesson begins with very good activities, however, somehow. And also, using a geoboard is tricky. It's, any manipulatives, there is a limitation, and then affordance. So, again, without seeing classroom today, we may not be able to see this one, right? When you teach this standard, to this unit, we should be very careful. Even district curriculum suggests you to use geoboard, but geoboard itself does not guarantee student learning. So need to make it clear. So how you, help students to accomplish that. So again, thank you very much for the, the great opportunity.
Thank you.
We're going to do one last thing before we finish out. Just do a couple of minutes for celebrations. I like to do this at the end of each round since we are having 2 different lessons going. So I'm just going to leave it open for celebration.
Well, I just want to appreciate the team for allowing our team to join. I'm not sure how much notice you had and how much notice your students had, but it was just nice to be a part of it, and hopefully going through the second. I think we've benefited a lot from the experience. So thank you for opening your classroom to us.
I just wanted to add, I think it's an incredible gift to be in a teacher's classroom every time, because it's, to me, like you're the expert in your room, you're doing all these amazing things with kids, you have a community and a relationship, and to invite us in is a really vulnerable thing to do, and so I just want to honor that, and I really appreciated you being willing to do that.
Thank you very much, both of you.
I wanted to celebrate how calm she was.
Yes. I want to be that calm.
Like the same person in front of her class as she does when she's talking to us. She has this demeanor where it's a lot of give and take with the kids, and they're listening to you, so when you say something clever, they're like, oh, I just got that. And so there's a lot of, they're very comfortable around you. They trust that you're leading them through this process, and it's evident with your students.
Yeah, I think they have the teacher they need. I think that's really good. I think very obvious to do.
I want to acknowledge just like the power of being able to be a teacher and go to another school site and go into that classroom and see how they teach and see what's on the walls and seeing how they use management and problem solving. It's so beneficial, and hearing Dr. T speak and analyze that lesson so succinctly that I could just take all this information back to my own lesson study team and then try to implement as much as possible the things that we learned in our lesson. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for all the support from everybody. It's really a really valuable opportunity to improve my skills and get a lot of feedback. And working with the team to produce the lesson was amazing. Just really a lot of good thought.
Any last celebration?
And the snacks.
Yeah. I want to thank the administrators who are here. I think, taking the time to really watch this process from the pre-lesson discussion to the lesson to the post-lesson discussion. Administrators are incredibly busy, and taking that time is in itself an incredible statement. But I think, if we think about it, the complexity of teaching, particular children, particular curriculum, particular circumstances, it requires that kind of in-depth look. And so I really appreciate people taking the time to do that. Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much. We will be, anyone who's coming back for our second round of lesson, we'll be meeting back here at noon.
And I think as the administrator group, we're going to just go into the YMCA room just to debrief. what we just observed. So if we can just head over to the YMCA, that would be great.
Can you take this?